Yes, for that confirms your top fox pin the building at your boy Chopper Man the Fryer of Plantain presents you another episode of the Africa Today show. We're gonna call this the long come edition, long come far reaching where have you been edition. Ginger yourself, appreciate it not die. Let's further confirm. These are things we want to talk about in this episode. We're going to do a recap on all the things that happened in Niger election. Niger election just finished not too long ago. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Yoruba of Lagos and everything else, pushing people into Lagoon and everything else. Talk about what that king has incited over there. Zulu nation in South Africa. How all this situation right now, they're killing foreigners. Talk about Malawi where they've outlawed the killing of albinos, and they're even saying that, you know what, you can actually do something to those people that are trying to kill albinos. Confirm. Talk about the fact that this is a whole year after the 200 girls or 300 girls or 350 girls, depending on who you're counting, went missing from Chibok, and also how the hardness of pomo can strong your teeth. Ladies and gentlemen, let's start the show. Ginger.
Yes, if I confirm, it's your boy Foxy P in the building. I like your boy, the chopper of Yam and the Fryer of Plantain. 1995, 1999 Goodwill champion, the first Igbo governor of Lagos State. But once I yes, can I say just be fit. Yes, but I confirm when in doubt, so that breast.
Yes, Father confirm. Welcome everybody to another episode of the Africa Today show. I'm going to jump right into it. So many things to talk about. So many things to talk about Africa Today show. Number one, talk about the election results. Yes, Buhari, in case you're living under a rock, which is probably not Olumo Rock, because under Olumo Rock, people have seen that things have happened. Confirm. They are saying the fact that Buhari won the election in Nigeria, which I thought was very interesting. You know, change of guard. And this is just me thinking, maybe this is the first question, so I apologize. The first time I'm going to open my mouth and talk about Africa Today's show is that it's the first question. Did Buhari win the election or did Jonathan lose the election? Because it seems that this is an election that was lost. Number one, you never had an incumbent president in Nigeria that has lost power. This is not the worst Nigeria has ever been. Nigeria has been way worse than it is now. This situation, it just seemed like we had a very incompetent president and everybody was tired. So as much as everybody is saying, oh, APC tried, they did their best, this and that, third, the election was lost, if you ask me. So that's the first question for you guys. Do you think the election was won or was the election lost? Now, everything has to do with the election. For me personally, one of the reasons why I didn't record an Africa Today show during the election was that I found it was very difficult for me because I looked at Nigeria and I said, wow, so this is what we've been reduced to. The situation that you have a former general who's almost 80 years old and you have an incumbent who's highly incompetent, and those are the two people we're going to pick from. You have a new political party which is an amalgamation of all the old political parties with Tinubu and Atiku and all the people that have fucked Nigeria up in the past. So it's like you're not picking. You really are not picking. There's nothing you're selecting. What about the governors? What about the local governments? You know, there's really no change on those levels. You know, what about the Senate? You know, it's still the same. So you're still having the same thing. So there's really no change to the man who's vulcanized on the corner of your street, or to the schoolboy whose tuition just got increased ridiculously at Lasso or whatever. There's really no change. So to me, I look at it like, is this what it has been reduced to? So I didn't really care. I don't have a voting card though. I have a voting card that when I went to Nigeria last time, I was able to go there and register and everything else. But still yet, I was just like, this election was just, for me, it was really sad. However, there were high points. Number one was the fact that peace reigned. Regardless of what everybody else said, oh, this country will burn up during election, it was very peaceful. I believe the electoral process, the campaign process itself was more violent than the election itself. So we thank God for that. And that thing that I found very interesting was just the entire electoral process. I got to learn more about how, presidents are selected in Nigeria and all that kind of stuff. How you have to win a certain number of votes. And I thought it was very interesting, the fact that even after voting, people will wait at the polling point to pretty much hear the counting of the votes one by one, so you can tell who won in your specific place where you guys went to vote. I thought that was very interesting. You have all the people that are voting from specific streets or in one small area, and then everybody will stand there and then they will count all the votes at the end, so you know the number that's going to be reported to headquarters. And also, very interesting, shout out to Channels Television. Did an excellent job of covering the counting, that final day when everybody was coming to come and say, okay, I'm the chairman in charge of all the votes in Lagos State or Edo State, and I'm here to come and report how many. I thought it was very interesting that they had, you know, professors. You know, Nigeria is a country that respects the academia. You know, people that are in the academic field look at them as that. People that don't, money is not something that drives them. Think about teachers, for instance. I usually tell people, if money was not an issue, I'll be a kindergarten teacher. Confirm. I like small children, I like playing with them, I like teaching them. So these are people that we look up to, that, you know, this person decided, dedicated their life to become teachers, and not just be teachers or takara, but of the highest level of education, which is the tertiary education. So you have professors, big guys, VCs, whatever. So, you know, it was interesting having them come and report on the states that they, you know, did they were in charge of collecting the votes. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was actually like difference in like the educational level. And you could actually look at that and extrapolate and take that and I'll say, maybe this part of Nigeria is more educated than this part of Nigeria. Because you look at the Yoruba professors, all the people that, oh, I'm here to report on Ogun State or Osun State. See the way they are speaking. Now, I'm not saying that your command of the English language tells you how intelligent you are, but your ability to read and write tells us how literate you are. And as a professor, you should be able to read in English. So I thought it was very interesting looking at all these professors coming from Ogun State or your state, speaking clearly and enunciating their words. You had the ones from Hausa, of course, they had the accent and everything else, but they're still trying to read. The Igbo professors, they tried, but then you can see when they now started getting into other Delta states, when you start getting into other riverine areas, River State, Bayelsa State, you have all these professors that cannot even speak, they cannot even talk, and you're thinking to yourself, dang! If you're a professor and you cannot even read, what about your students? That's when I start thinking about people like Jonathan, who has a PhD from one of those universities. Think about Patience, his wife. Now only Wakakon. These are all graduates of those universities. And I'm like, wow. The educational system in Nigeria is nothing to write home about. The disparity is wide. It's so wide. And I was thinking to myself, like, any small thing that ASU will go on strike. Look at what it's doing to the professors. Professors cannot even read no more. Professor, they have to bring lantern for him to come and read. How bad now, daddy? Is that what we're here for? Talking about the electoral process, you know, one thing I found very interesting was also how different ethnicities are now pretty much strong in their muscle. You know, you see the way Nigeria is set up now is pretty much changing. You know, you can see that Buhari in the past couple of elections has always won all the Hausa states, but he was unable to win the presidency until he partnered up with the Yoruba states. So APC, Tinubu was able to help him deliver the Yoruba states, and so you have that. So is it possible that this is the future of Nigeria, where you need to have two of the major ethnic groups to partner for you to win? Food for thought. Because it has happened before during Shehu Shagari's time. If you remember, Shehu Shagari was a Hausa man, and then he partnered up with Alex Ekweme to be his vice president, and they were able to win the ticket. So it was pretty much a Hausa Igbo without Yoruba. This time it was Hausa Yoruba without Igbo, because all the Igbo states voted unanimously for Jonathan. And nothing that we learned from the whole election process. You know, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but when they were calling the number of the states and, like, you know, the people that registered to vote, people that voted, you have all those northern states, you know, talking about, like, you know, 4 million, you know, 5 million, you know, all those big numbers. Then you look at the southwest, you do Yoruba states, you know, small Igbo states, 1.1 million, 500,000, you know, and you start to realize that, wow, all of these northern states are so big and heavily populated, whereas the southern states are so small and their population is a lot less. And it goes back to when they were dividing all the states. Remember when they tell you that, oh, Nigeria had 12 states or 18 states, and then 21 states and 30 states and 36 states? During all that time, it's people in the south that are dividing themselves. Think about Imo State. Imo State alone, they've divided Imo and Abia. From there, they divided again, they had Ebonyi State. Think about Oyo and all these other states. But in the north, Kano has always been Kano. Swell up. Kaduna has always been Kaduna. Swell up. Katsina has always been Katsina. Every once in a while, you can have an old Gongola state that can split up. But those states that are splitting up, you have Taraban and Adamawa, usually they're splitting up between the Christian and the Muslim side. So I was just like, wow. There's been things that's been going on underneath that we did not even notice before. Meanwhile, you still have people that are still fighting in Delta State right now. They are still looking for a way to even contact Yoruba people. Say they want their own state. The Shekiri say they want their own, Agbo people and all of those, they say they want their own. If you come all the way down to Ogun State, people are even fighting right now. They say they can get a bad state out of that Ogun. So they want to cut it up even more. So you now cut. You now reduce your sphere of influence. And at the end of the day, you have all these swell up Hausa states, which it will get to a point where all you need is just Hausa and you just be winning. And then you now go back to what we had with military rule, where it was Hausa that ruled Nigeria for a long time. And that lesson that to me I learned in this whole election was that you have certain ethnicities that have transplanted themselves to certain parts of Nigeria, and if before they didn't know the amount of power they had, now they know. Look at the Oba of Lagos that came out and he said that if people did not vote, that he will push them into the river or push them into lagoon. And at first I was just like, dang, that's a very hateful thing to say. But then I thought about it and I was like, wow. So this man, this Oba really cares about Igbo people's vote. Of which for the longest time, being an Igbo boy that grew up in Lagos, born in Lagos, grew up in Lagos, we've always been told that nobody cares about our vote, nobody cares about Igbo people. Even on my book, anytime I'm registering for any school or any exam, I have to write that my state of origin is Abia State. Even when I was born, I was raised in Lagos State. So pretty much Lagos was telling me that you have to tell us that you're from somewhere else. So I always have to identify as a foreigner in that state. So I thought it was very interesting that, damn, all of a sudden now people care about who we're voting for. Of which I knew that Oba would not do anything, quite alright, let's be honest. Oba has never done anything for anybody in the history of anything in Lagos. Besides the fact that they gave away Lagos to the Yoruba people, and that's how Nigeria was colonized by the past Oba of Lagos Pekin. You can read the history, you can find out what happened in that whole situation. Confirmed. Now, Oba of Lagos to me has pretty much not done nothing. If I think to myself, I met Oba Oyekon, who's my very good friend, Koye Oyekon's grandfather. And when we went on an excursion to Oba Oyekon's palace, all he did for us was he gave us Mr. Big's meat pie and Mirinda. That's it. And I was like, wow, this is a great Oba. It was nice to meet you, Sha. So this last Oba, who cares? What are you going to do? Even my mom sells rice. She has a restaurant right there in Marina. She told me, she's like, look, when I called her and said, are you okay? She's like, okay, what? Said the Igbo traders that are right there in Saleko, they went and knocked on Oba's gate. They said, I beg, man, I tell about. So now we did the same market for you. So when time reached to push out that lagoon, why yeah? Igbo boys were ready to backstroke inside the lagoon. Leave story, man. They are part and parcel of Lagos State. You know how many Igbo people have been buying land since the beginning? My posse bought his first land in 1972 in Lagos. So who care? Nobody care. Think about Lagos Island, the Ojuku's father. The amount of land they have on Osborne Road, Kingsway Road, everything. So Lagos is for everybody. And that might be the second question I want to ask to the Nigerian viewers.
Taking into consideration its former status as the capital of Nigeria and its current status as a melting pot of different ethnicities and cultures, do you still consider Lagos a Yoruba state the same way you'd look at, say, Oyo State or Ogun State?
For me personally, I believe that Lagos is no longer a Yoruba place. It belongs to everybody. As long as you come and say that the place is the federal capital territory, and you now decide that you want to change your mind, who cares? It belongs to everybody. New York in America, it belongs to everybody, not native New Yorkers. DC belongs to everybody, not native. Anywhere that you have said is federal capital territory and everybody has come down there and we have developed it with all the money coming from everywhere else, you cannot come and claim it one day and say it belongs to one ethnicity. It belongs to all. And to all those Ezendigbo, touts and animals that went there and went together. Oba is telling you he's going to push inside lagoon and you're nodding your head. You put animals and you put babash. I don't even know what Ezendigbo means. Igbo people don't have king. If you go in the history of Igbo, you find out that even the kings that we claim to have in the eastern part of the country, they're not even kings that we put in place. It's the Oyibo people that came. Oyibo man came. He started off with secondary rule in Hausa land in Lagos and everywhere else where he was meeting kings, he said, you know what, I'm not going to come and now tell you how to do things. Just rule your subjects, I will rule you, and everything of that. Just come and lay down your arms. Kind of like, you know, Game of Thrones, where you throw your sword to the king that's sitting down on the throne, and they'll melt your sword into the throne, and you become a subject. So pretty much by making you a subject, all your people become subjects too. So they came to Igbo land and they said, okay, who should we talk to? Igbo people said, we don't have king. They said, who's your king? We don't have no king. We just have a bunch of chiefs and elders and everything else. I've explained this on Africa Today show before. So then I said, okay, you don't have king, Abi. Alright, who wants to be king? I know Igbo people now. Everybody has aspirations. Everybody wants to be the biggest and the richest and everything else. That's how they just pretty much did it. So if you look at my own personal village, Amil below here, we got our first king when I think like 5 years ago. Well, our first king ever in the history of our existence. Was our village made 5 years ago? No, it's just when we decided that okay, fine, let's collect king too, so that you know the governor, and that's how. So not that people don't understand. King that you have, king doesn't have any money. Is governor. The government is the one that give them money. They pay them allowance every month. That's how every once in a while you can see that, oh, the governor went and bought brand new 504 station wagon for all the royal fathers. He's the king. That's why whenever a place fight and they say it's time to pick king, they have to go. If you select your king, you have to now go to the governor's office, the state house, and then collect the staff of office. So think about it now. Why are you collecting staff of office from governor? If you look at the history of Nigeria, you can look at it. Anybody that wants to do this, you can do your own research yourself. There are some kings that people don't play with. Sardauna of Sokoto, Emir of Kano, Oba of Benin. These are people that their kingdom has been there since the beginning of day one. It's not the state governor. They don't give a fuck about the state governor. They can give the state governor back and slap. You think that anybody that's the governor of Edo State can go and talk anything to Omona Banedo? Cannot do that. You can't come close to the Oba and then just you can't try. They give you back and slap you, fall out from here till Hamatan come back. Ginger. So there's certain thrones that's sacred. But to me, I don't count Lagos State on Lagos State. You have a civil servant, a former inspector, police guy that's on the throne there. Who cares about him? So he said whatever he's going to say. The Igbos will just be like, Hey, Daddy, go ahead. We can't just discount what he said and just say, oh, because he's powerless, nobody's going to do anything about it. That's because it's Lagos. What if the same thing was said by the Sardauna of Sokoto, who pretty much is considered to be like the religious head for all the Muslims in Nigeria? So he's pretty much like ruling the Hausas or the Fulanis, and at the same time he's considered a religious head. If that guy says, you know what, I want to declare a holy war right now against Igbos, what are you going to say? What if the Emir of Kano said that? It's heavy. So that guy should be persecuted. They should not be waiting around and just be sitting around like, oh, it's just the Oba of Lagos. He doesn't have any power. Something needs to be done, or else everybody just open their mouth and just be saying it any kind of way. Now talking about another Oba or another king that says something that's now causing all kind of wahala. We're getting the report from South Africa, and the king of the Zulus, king of the Zulu nation, is one that came out and said that all these foreigners are taking all their jobs, they should be sent back to their countries, and all of a sudden you have xenophobia. Xenophobia is a word that I think it defines as the fear of foreigner, anything that's foreign to you. Like now, I might be afraid of this torchlight because you use Tiger battery, and maybe my old torch use diesel. I don't know. So it's a fear. It's a fear of foreign things. Fear of foreign things. Fear of foreign things. Confirmed. Of foreign people. So that's the situation right now in South Africa. I've read different articles. Guidance Newspaper said that they killed 4 people. I've read different things. They said they killed 10 Nigerians and everything else. I saw a picture that was very poignant to me. I saw this one family being chased away. And it's very interesting when you think about South Africa doing all of this. Because they just came out from all the wahala that they went through when the white people didn't want them to exist. You know, think about everything that South Africa has gone through, and now their way of moving forward is now the blacks putting pressure on other black people. Just because white people came and drew a line and said this circumference here is South Africa, so you believe that people from Malawi, people from Botswana, people from places that are just outside though, because before we used to get the news that they were killing Nigerians. So we thought, oh, maybe Nigerians are doing 419 there, they're carrying drugs, they're doing bad things, so South Africans don't like us the same way a lot of other countries do not like us. So I was like, is that why? But no, they are killing even Malawians. Malawi people, I cannot even tell the difference between a Malawi person and a South African person. They are exactly the same. If you had left this whole thing back to the wild animal Cecil Rhodes, who believed that all of Africa should have been here, starting from South Africa, he would have just clumped all of them together like that, and he doesn't have any. There's no difference. But luckily, South Africa, they now drew their own cycle and said this is South Africa, and then Malawi did their own, and they said this is Malawi. What about Lesotho? Lesotho is a country that's actually surrounded completely by South Africa. Are you going to tell me that you have xenophobia towards a country that was inside of your country? How do you do this? So to me, I'm looking at it like, apartheid. South Africa, don't forget to. It's the rest of these black people that you are chasing away or you are fighting are the ones that help people fight apartheid though. All these your rulers, I read something today where they said 5%, like in the 80s, 5% of the salaries of Nigerian civil servants was being sent to South Africa to help them in the war against apartheid, or the fight against apartheid. I remember vividly, one of the reasons why I even know what apartheid is or why I know anything about Nelson Mandela was when people were pushing for his freedom. Majek Fashek, Mandators, they were singing all these songs, Free Mandela, Free Man. Oh, that's how we even knew about Mandela. We didn't know all those songs. If mosquito bite you, killer, killer. If mosquito bite you. That's just a remix of one song that we used to sing about Mandela. So I'm looking at it like, South Africa, now wow, you are biting the fingers that fed you. It's not that long ago that Mandela was freed, and all of a sudden they handed over power from F.W. de Klerk to Mandela, who was the first black president of a mostly black country, and now the black people are now killing blacks. Come on, that don't make no sense. Talking about Malawians who are being attacked by South Africans, I'm getting news from Malawi right now that they have put in a new law that said, look, any single human person that carried themselves to go and attack an albino, apparently it's a big issue out there because people are always killing albinos. They believe that you can use their limbs, sell their limb and use it to do money and use it to do all kinds of traditional medicine and juju and jazz and all kinds of nonsense, black arts and darkness. Confirmed. They say that Malawi has come out and said, if you see anybody, that's the police only, if police see anybody that's attacking an affair, trying to kidnap them or anything, they can take their gun and shoot to kill. Keep them and let them die on the spot. Confirmed. Because they say it's coming a big problem. Kenya has been fighting it. Tanzania has been fighting it. So pretty much a lot of those countries in that whole circle have been fighting it. So now there's now more pressure on the albinos in the surrounding countries because the value has gone up. They say now the limb of an albino can go for almost $7,000 and their full body can go for $20,000 US. So now these people, I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. It's crazy to me how human being has now become like a species that you just want to come and cut off their body and use. And they say one of the biggest problems is during political season when there's campaigns. So I'm like, damn, it's a crazy thing to have to go through. Talking about crazy things that people have to go through. This is the 1-year anniversary of the girls that were kidnapped from Chibok. Still not found. I almost started with that fight recently when I saw a news that Buhari came out and he said that Chibok girls, it doesn't seem like, he doesn't want to promise anybody, but he doesn't think that he'll be able to find them, because by now they might have been gone. And I'm like, hold on, press pause. What do you mean Chibok girls that were kidnapped, you don't think you will be able to find them? Wasn't that part of your campaign mantra? Wasn't that part of the things that you said that Jonathan didn't do right? You said Chibok girls were kidnapped, you didn't do anything about it. Boko Haram is still out there, you didn't do anything about it. So the sense that people have is, if we vote you in, you will come and find the girls and you will go and kill all the Boko Haram of which they need to be killed. Confirm. Let them be joining ISIS, Mansa, who care? Nobody cares, they're all going to die. Confirm. So I was like, damn. The one hasn't even reached for your presidency and you're already giving an excuse. Let me tell you something about excuses. Excuses are the one thing in life that if you already bring out before the problem has even come out, you will never solve that problem. If you already have an excuse, you're never going to solve the issue. So if you, I don't want no excuses. I want you to say, as president, I will do everything that I can. I will move forward and I will catch every single person that did anything to those guests. I will rescue the guests, even if it's only one that's remaining, because one of those girls has to be alive, confirmed. Yes, they've been raped. Yes, they've been brutalized and been subject to the worst kind of treatment. Yes, they've been married off, but they are still alive. So you, Mr. President, must find those fine girls and babies. Now, for all the people that are doing all kind of crazy things, there's a guy that's riding bicycle all the way from Ivory Coast. He's riding the bike coming through. So he's going to ride from Ivory Coast all the way to Nigeria because of Chibok girls. There's some guys that live in Nigeria, carry this money. They're on 3rd Mainland Bridge. They chain themselves and they plaster their mouth. Stop doing nonsense. Don't do nonsense no more. All you have to do is very simple. I know that's your own way, in your own mind, of bringing publicity to this issue. All you have to do is just keep pushing the government. Don't do anything crazy. Don't go and jump from 3rd Mainland Bridge. Don't go and jump from Niger Bridge. Don't jump from no bridge. The hashtag is a good thing. I like it on Twitter. Hashtag on Instagram. Keep reposting. Keep putting pressure so those girls are never forgotten. But don't do nothing crazy. Please, please, and please, I'm begging you with a lot of God. Now, on a much lighter note, we're getting the news from Oyo State that a PDP governor aspirant who, during his campaign time, he went there and he put a new transformer in the Sabo area of Ibadan. He put the transformer in there saying that, you know what, my people, I'm going to be your governor and I want people to have light. Light is for you. Light is for you to enjoy and for you to just be perplexed with all the brightness coming on your body and all the fan blowing your ramen everywhere. He gave them light. But then he lost the election. Oyo State was won by APC. And what did they do? Just a few days. The election just ended. This Saturday that just passed through. Just a few days after he lost, the guy went and carried the transformer and said, you didn't vote for me, I'm taking it with me. So I'm telling my father is still in America, by the ways. I told you put that video about African parents. You can't ask them when they are leaving. It's been here since before APC Xmas. That's December 20th. How about? Okay, fine. Now, I asked my father, I was like, damn, isn't this crazy? He said, what do you mean, is it not crazy? This thing has happened since the beginning of time now. I was like, what do you mean? He said, if you look in the history of old Eastern region used to be all those Igbo side and everything besides, you know, if you carve, once you cross the River Niger, you used to consider that whole thing Eastern region and everything else. So he said the old premier of the Eastern region, Michael Okpara, there was a time when he was running for office and he went and did borehole and did water pipe and everything for people in Umuahia area. And when, after the election, of which he won the election though, after the election he now checked the votes and I said, hey, these people in this area did not vote for me. You went and voted for the other guy because it's from people's side. They went and dug up. They went and dig up all the pipe. Say, give me my water, give me my water, give me my. You put on fresh water, you put on fresh water stream, you bastard animal. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for you. Appreciate you not die. Thank you guys so much for watching the Africa Today show. Appreciate your patience. A lot of things has been going on with me. You know how putting together all these comedy shows has been really, really difficult. I went through a time when, you know, with the election and everything else, I just found like African news was just so depressing, you know, and I just, to be honest with you, I just didn't want to talk about it. I'm somebody who already suffers from depression personally. So now I have something that's just depressing where every day you're hearing is Boko Haram has killed people, Somalia has gone and killed people in their own country, Malawi. It's just sad news, sad news, you know. Shout out to the person that sent me the uplifting news of the Niger boy in New York City who's been accepted to 8 Ivy League schools. Biko. It's very nice. I like to hear that. Just like the Ghana boy last year who was accepted to all the Ivy League schools. All Niger students, all African children should please be applying for these big schools because you can get in. Confirm. I know that for a fact. I've been there, performed at Princeton, I've performed at Yale. The brightest minds in these schools is us, our people. Confirm. That's why New York Times brought out an article last year talking about out of all the students who are black in Harvard, 25% of them are Nigerian. That's a beautiful thing. So Keep up the good work. Keep flying the flag high. So at least we're going to have some uplifting news to report on Africa Today's show. But I leave you guys. You guys are amazing. You guys are the best ever. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you keep introducing your friends to this wonderful show. It's because of you people that we do it. Man, I take care, man. I swear to talk whenever I will end this show. Anything we don't die in a Voltron. And when in doubt, suck that breast fat. Suck that breast fat. Ginger, ginger, ginger.